Hello my dear students, Shiva Teja is back again from Indigo to discuss with you and spend some time with you on discussion about CA final indirect tax laws of May 23 examination. Friends, this video is only to have a short discussion about the paper, and this time the paper has been quite good, and especially lot of questions which have come in the previous attempt have been repeated, and at the same time there was a good focus on the amendments in the examination. So that was a very positive side of this paper which has come this time. So let's spend a little bit of our time on just having an overview and oversee the questions which have come in the examination. So let's have a clear-cut bird's eye view on these questions which have come in CA final indirect tax laws May 2023 paper. See that, my dear friends. So first, we are looking at the descriptive part. We are not looking at the objective based questions. We are looking at the descriptive part here. So first, in the question they gave about a mining contractor. This was a 14 marks question, and he has crossed threshold limit for registration in the 22-23 and is duly registered under GST in the state of Gujarat, and he has undertaken the following transactions, and they have given value figure exclusive of taxes. First point, Vasudev is an operating member in the mining and exploration services at Aliabet oil field, Bhavnagar, Gujarat. He has provided certain services to the joint venture at the same site in which he is also a member. He believes that consideration received from the joint venture is cost recovery and not taxable. Already we know this point, my dear friends. We don't call it as a cost recovery. This will definitely be taxable because service is given by member to the joint venture. Clear? Next point. He has purchased certain machinery from Mumbai, Maharashtra to render services to joint venture at Aliabet oil field. Okay, very good. He has obtained professional services from a senior advocate of Gujarat to represent him in a matter before arbitral tribunal, and this will come under reverse charge mechanism, RCM, my dear friends, because he has taken services of a lawyer. Next point, my dear friends. He was allotted an office on rent by the state government of Gujarat close to the seashore of Aliabet oil field. So it's renting of immobile property to a registered person. And we know this concept is also covered under RCM. So much of concept on RCM, my dear friends. But you had observed that this is a case of renting of the property by the government, for which there is a separate point in the law. Next, he got a portion of petroleum silt, non-taxable under GST, as a part of compensation while exploring the reserves at Aliabet oil field, which as per the contract with the government is a part of cost petroleum. Cost petroleum, we don't tax it, we only tax the profit petroleum. Next, he sells the profit to an SEZ developer in Bhavnagar in Gujarat and has already filed LUT. If there is LUT, there is no GST. But however, he can claim input tax credit because this is regarded as a zero rated supply. Next, consideration received in the nature of recovery of bond amount in case of 3 employees leaving the employment before a minimum period of 1 year as per the terms of the contract. This is not a part of service by employee to employer and all. So this is a separate transaction which is not with respect to employment. This is an amount recovered from the employees because they have broken the bond. Next, compensation refers towards transfer of tenancy rights in Gujarat, which according to Vasudev is not liable to GST as it has suffered the stamp duty. So transfer of tenancy right, if it is with respect to residential property, the story is different, but in general, transfer of tenancy rights is taxable. Next point. Consideration received from mining leaseholders for renting of 5 dumpers. Consideration received from mining leaseholder for renting of 5 dumpers, including driver given for transport of minerals within the mining area for a period of 2 years. And he has been assigned the mining right from the government, and the amount of IGST involved against the royalty payment is 3 lakh rupees. So amount of GST involved against the royalty payment is 3 lakh rupees. So what is that line, my dear friends? So basically he is acting as a excess royalty collection contractor. So he has been assigned the mining right from the government, and the amount of GST involved against royalty payment is 3 lakh. On this 3 lakh already government pays tax, so there is no tax again what he pays. Vasudev filed a bond or LUT to claim benefits under zero rated supply. Assume CGST SGST rate is 2.5 each on goods and 9% on service. There is opening balance of 34,000 and there is a brought forward ITC of 15,000, 50,000 and 9,000. And from the above details, compute minimum net GST payable. So you have to calculate the output tax, set off your input tax credit, then you will get your answer. Slightly tricky, but still it was a comfortable question which has come in the examination. Next point. If you look at the second question, my dear friends, what is this point all about? Diva Fashions, a registered supplier in Ludhiana under GST law, has made the following supplies. Supply of designer silk dresses packed in a designer box to a boutique in Mumbai as per the contract entered with the boutique. It is what is the value, my dear friends? 25 lakhs. And the dress is packed in designer boxes. But the predominant element of supply is what, my dear friends? Silk dresses only. The box is only an ancillary. Next. 600 kits of 6 lakh rupees to Aurora, and each kit consists of silk dupatta, sari, brooch and one lipstick. It is very clearly a mixed supply which is taxable at highest rate. And Diva Fashions organized a fashion show in Chandigarh, and Xeon Exports Limited, registered entity in Jaipur, has sponsored the show, for which Diva Fashions received 7,50,000 from it. My dear friends, let me tell you, sponsorship services provided to a body, corporate or firm will be taxable under RCM. That means if receiver is a body, corporate or firm, then we will tax under RCM. And who is the receiver here? The receiver of service is Xeon Exports Limited. So definitely it's taxed under RCM. Next. 200 kits are given as free gifts to customer on the occasion of 5th anniversary. Same kind of question came in exam so many times. And each kit consists of one dupatta, one brooch, and each kit cost is 350 rupees. Open market value is not available. Input tax credit has not been taken. If input tax credit is not taken, it is not a supply at all, because permanent transfer or a disposal of business asset is regarded as supply only if ITC is claimed. And in the question they clearly told ITC is not claimed. Next. Professional services provided free of cost by Diva to her independent married sister to set up her own boutique in Delhi. And the cost of providing service is 1 lakh, but the open market value is not available. The point to be noted is that will this sister come under relative definition? The answer is no, because relative also covers members of the family, and in the law they define that family means spouse and children. Parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters are covered only if they are dependents. So they are not relative. If they are not relative, then it will not come under supply if there is no consideration. Next. Diva Fashion entered into contract on 1st February with Miss Shika, a local model, to act as a brand ambassador. And Miss Shika terminated the contract on 2nd February. As per the contract, Diva Fashion received 25% of the total contract fees paid to Shika, as the contract is terminated before 3 years. And Miss Shika received the contract fee for 2 years at the time of termination of the contract. Very good. So both are two independent transactions, and both transactions will become taxable separately. All the amounts given above are exclusive of GST, and Aurora paid interest of 8,850 for a delay in making payment to Diva Fashions. This also will add it to value of supply, but since it is inclusive of GST, we will do into 100 by 100 plus rate. And the rates of GST are given in the question. That said, this was a very comfortable and simple question on the part of customs duty, and this was a very simple question where they gave details of cost of goods $40,000 and the transport charges from factory to the port for shipment $800, freight charges from US to India, freight is ascertainable, so we'll take that figure only. And light rate charges, this also will take. Light rate charges, demurrage charges is always included, and demurrage charge will take into account ship demurrage charges. And freight from port of entry to inland container depot, this is not included for determining the assessable value, because whatever cost is incurred till the time the goods are brought into the place of importation, that is only considered. And ABC Industries incurred designing charges necessary for those goods which were paid to WOW designers, in New Delhi. Designing, engineering, development charges are incurred only if they are undertaken outside India. Since they are undertaken in India, we don't take that into account. And bill of entry date is given, entry inward date is given. So we'll take what? Whichever is later for the purpose of rate of duty, and for exchange rate we will take bill of entry. So assessable value will come, we will calculate BCD and we will calculate social welfare surcharge at the rate of 10% of BCD and then take complete total. On the complete total we will charge IGST. Then the story comes to an end. That's it. This was a very easy question. Explain in brief whether the following below mentioned cases of supply of service are exempt or taxable as per GST law, including notification issued thereunder. Himalayan Wanderers campsite fixed up various tents in Shimla for lodging purpose being offered to tourists and trekkers, and the details of tent is 600 per day, 1000 per day. Both will become taxable because earlier there was exemption of hotel accommodation below 1000 rupees, but now that exemption is gone, so it becomes taxable. Fables Infotech LLP, a limited liability partnership firm having a registered place of business in Hyderabad under GST, entered into contract with Nita Services for providing AC mini vans for 1 year for transportation of its female employees working in the night shifts to be picked up from designated spots every day at 9 p.m. except weekends and dropped to the office. The same female employees were again picked up from office at 6:30 a.m. every morning except weekends and dropped back into the same spot where they were picked up. Brilliant. So there is no specific exemption for this point as such. So it becomes taxable, my dear friends. Next point. Hum Tum Services Limited, registered under GST, provided catering service to Bal Jatan Anganwadi, an education institute providing preschool. This will become exempt because catering service provided to a preschool is exempt. 50 women from different cities pursuing diploma in management courses participate in leadership program designed especially for women for 9 months by IIM Bangalore. A certificate as to their participation was awarded to each one of them after completion of the program. If it is not a recognized course or the recognized qualification, then it becomes taxable. Ashok rented his residential flat to his friend Dr. Kishore, who is not registered under GST, for use as his medical clinic at a rent of 15,000 per month. This is taxable. One latest amendment, that too this is taxable under reverse charge mechanism. Services of renting of residential property to a registered person. Next question. Mr. X, a trader dealing exclusively in supply of goods and paid tax under normal scheme, also eligible for composition scheme. Very good. Submit the following details for the coming financial 23-24. You are required to determine which scheme will be more beneficial to him and should you opt for composition scheme or not. Just check the input tax credit, check output tax, set off and check how much is the tax coming. And if it's a trader under a composition scheme, he'll pay tax at the rate of 0.5% plus 0.5% on the taxable turnover. Compare these two and check which tax is less. And then take a decision whether you should go for a composition scheme or not. Inward supplies, where there is a input credit under normal scheme. Outward supplies, normal rate 12%. Inherent expense under both the schemes are 4,50,000. And books of accounts maintenance cost is 2 lakh per yearly. Under composition scheme 75,000. Return filing expense under normal is this much, composition is this much. Consider that figures and then take a decision. Then, next point. Importer M is engaged in importing and distributing of sports goods. He imported sports product from Mr. Q of Malaysia and sells under the brand name of True Speed. To publicize the product, M has spent on advertisement, marketing, on promotion of the product. Department contended that AMP expense incurred were to be added in the value of the contract goods. Determine the contention of the department is correct. Definitely answer is no, my dear friends, because expense incurred after importing will not form part of assessable value. You're getting my point? Exactly. Next. Proceed, friends. Next question which came in the examination. Ever Young Manufacturers LLP, a registered supplier under GST, is engaged in manufacturing of Ayurvedic cosmetic product within the state of Gujarat. What details they gave? Outward supply of skincare products. Outward supply of skincare products 6%, 6%. Inward supply 6%, 6%. 2.5, 2.5. Capital good details they gave. ITC in respect of all types of inward supply was claimed in 3B and the same was also reflected in 2B. Wow, so nice. All conditions for claiming the refund are duly complied with and no refund was claimed for the month of Jan 2023. So basically this is a case where inward supply, there is a capital goods, there is inward supply for inputs and there is outward supply like this. So technically this is a clear-cut case of inverted duty structure where the tax rate on output is higher than tax rate on inputs. That's called inverted duty structure. You're getting my point? So based on that, we'll calculate the amount of refund. So basically, inverted duty structure is that structure where the tax rate on inputs is higher than the tax rate on output. So obviously, refund will come into picture, where we take into account net ITC into turnover of inverted rated supply of goods divided by total turnover minus the tax payable on inverted rated supply. Into that proportionate, we will calculate, and then we will determine what is the amount of refund. Next question, they are asking, decide with reason whether e-waybill is required or not. This question is based on e-waybill. SV Electricals Limited, registered supplier of electronic goods, is required to send from Delhi a consignment of parts of LED TV to be replaced under warranty, and the value of consignment declared in the delivery challan is 65,000, and they claims that movement of goods is caused due to reasons other than supply. E-waybill is not required. It's definitely a false statement. E-waybill is required for a transaction which is supply, and it's also required for a transaction for reasons other than supply. Next point, Tree Limited, registered in Kerala, is sending goods to its job worker in Tamil Nadu, which is also registered under GST. Consignment value is 37,500. When goods are sent by principal located in one state to a job worker located in another state, e-waybill is mandatory irrespective of value of consignment. So in this question, my dear friends, e-waybill becomes mandatory. Next point, custom authorities, again question on customs. They notice that there is increase in the quantity of products imported into India, solar products. So they brought something called safeguard duty. So what do you do, my dear friends? So first you calculate BCD, calculate safeguard duty, then calculate social welfare surcharge, then take full total on full total charge IGST. Will your answer change if it is SCZ unit? With SCZ unit, generally we don't charge safeguard duty as such. Next, this question is a straightforward question which came in exams so many times. Self-assess their liability but they failed to make payment. Department initiated penal proceedings for recovery of penalty for failure to pay GST, and they issued show cause notice. He deposited the tax along with interest and informed the department on the same day. Department is contending that he is liable to pay penalty under section 73 if it is paid before notice, or if it is paid within 30 days from the date of notice, there is no requirement to pay penalty at all. If it is paid after order only, penalty will come into picture. Next, Raj intends to start a new manufacturing business in Jaipur. He is not able to determine the classification of the goods proposed to be manufactured. Since the classification has been contentious, Raj read article about advance ruling in newspaper, very good, and decided to apply. Rahul, who is a friend of Raj, is also engaged in supply of goods similar to Raj, to which Raj proposes to manufacture in Jaipur. And Rahul advised him to apply the same classification since he has already taken advance ruling. This is ridiculous and nonsense, because advance ruling is binding only on that particular applicant who has sought it. So whatever ruling is sought and got by Rahul, Raj cannot apply and use that ruling. Raj's tax consultant also agreed with the advice given by Rahul, and Raj also thought it's a good decision and thought he need not be registered to apply for advance ruling. You are required to advise whether Raj and his consultant are right and can classify the goods proposed to be supplied by Raj on the basis of his friend Rahul's advance ruling order. So answer is no. Next, whether Raj needs to get registered to apply for advance ruling. No, even unregistered person can apply for advance ruling. Next, Nodi, age 40 years and citizen of Australia, is on a solo trip to India for 1 month to meet his Indian friend residing in Mumbai. So nice. And he carried with him the following as a part of the baggage. Baggage rules. Personal effects, very good, no duty. Other articles, 1 lakh, oh man. 65 categories of firearms. We know something called Annexure 1 items, firearms, categories of firearms exceeding 50. Then tobacco 150 grams. That means it is more than 125 grams. I am sure you remember the concept of cigarettes exceeding 100 sticks, cigars exceeding 25, or tobacco exceeding 125 grams. That excess will come under Annexure 1 items, for which we will charge duty at 100%. Mobile phone, 50 cigars, more than 25. Use personal effects of his infant child for donation. Very good. Next. With reference to baggage rules, indicate the taxability and the taxable value. Also calculate the duty payable on baggage rounded off to nearest rupee in accordance with the law. Simple. Next. Blueberry traders register under GST issued a tax invoice without any underlying supply of goods. Oh man, they did not supply anything but they gave invoice. That's a fraud for which penalty will come into picture. And Blue Lagoon also availed ITC on the basis of invoice. That is also a mistake. Department issued show cause notice to Blue Lagoon specifying the amount of tax along with interest payable and applicable penalty. But the point to be noted is that when there is no supply at all, then there is no question of GST, my dear friends. But the point to be noted is that availing ITC on the basis of that is absolutely wrong. And Blue Lagoon paid the tax along with interest and also with penalty. Explain the provision in brief and determine the amount of penalty to be paid by Blueberry traders and Blue Lagoon traders in respect of the above referred transaction. During our course discussion, we spoke a lot about these kind of transactions and the penalties involved in this. Next point, Mr. Jumbo filed an appeal before appellate tribunal. It is an optional question. Filed before appellate tribunal against the order of appellate authority, which where the issue involves relates to place of supply. If it's related to place of supply, you have to go to national bench or what, my dear friends? National bench or regional bench. And the order of tribunal came in favor of department. Now Jumbo wants to file appeal against the decision of tribunal as he feels the stand taken by him is correct. You are required to advise him suitably with regard to filing of an appeal before appellate forum higher than appellate tribunal. Directly go to Supreme Court, because there is a matter related to place of supply. You will go to national bench or regional bench. From there, directly we will go to Supreme Court but not High Court. Next, what are the powers available to the proper officer for scrutiny of returns? Section 61. Detected discrepancy in the return filed and explain the recourse that may be taken. Basically, he will give notice and grant some time, and if it does not respond, he will proceed for section 65 department audit or 66 special audit, or he will proceed for 73 recovery of tax which is not paid, short paid, ITC, wrongly availed or utilized for reason other than fraud, misstatement or suppression. If it is fraud, misstatement or suppression, he will apply section 74. Next, the last question in the examination. Under which provisions of Constitution of India, government is empowered to levy taxes? They are talking about union list, state list, concurrent list. And customs duty is entry 83. And you are required to write a note on legal related provisions and restrictions under Constitution of India. Article 265 we will write. Then we will talk about 7th schedule of Constitution of India, 3 list, and then we will talk about entry number 83. And government has got power by virtue of the 3 list only. That's it. So that is the story of this interesting questions which came in the examination in CA final May 2023 attempt. This short discussion was only to ensure that we have wrote the paper like this, and this kind of paper has come in the examination. Overall, it was an interesting paper. Some questions were tricky, but 60 to 70% paper was actually very comfortable. So with this, we'll close the discussion. All the very best, my dear friends. Though for those who are awaiting for the results and who are yet to write their attempt, I wish you all the very best and wish you all success. So do stay connected with Indigo Learn, and any doubts anytime, we're all there and will be more than happy to support and help you guys out. And any doubts, feel free to post in our forums. We'll be more than happy to respond. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. Shiva Teja signing off.